I have a very interesting story for you today. I got a photograph here where I'm talking to a major in the Philippine Army who asked for an interview with me. Now, these were the days when the People's Army were fighting President Marcos's regime. And most of the fighting was out in the mountain areas, the country areas. And this major, he asked me if they could drop me behind the lines and speak in these certain areas, villages. They're really like big villages. And I said, what's the purpose of that? He said, well, you've been having good success so far up to the military zone where you're not allowed to go. He said, and you could be very helpful. We'll fly you in helicopters. And I said, I don't think that's a good idea, because immediately the People's Army would know straight away I'm against them. No, I'll go into the jeepneys. We have a little team, about 6, all our stocks. And if we have your permission, we'll go that way. We'll take a risk that way. I think it's safer for us. He said, okay. And we'll do our best to watch over you, whatever's taking place. So we get to this area where it was a day where it was like, what would you call it? It was under martial law. So at night time, they couldn't go out to the streets in the village or anything. They're under like a curfew. And they were very pleased to see us when we went in a team. And I remember they had quite a celebration. They were doing their folk dances and all this stuff. And we heard occasionally in the backgrounds in the mountains, gunfire. And okay, so we had a meeting, a great meeting. A lot of people got saved. And the next day we had to get out. Now we had to cross a river on a float. And they pull you across. And when we were leaving, of course, they gave us bananas and some fruit and different things. And so we were a little overloaded. So I suggested that the team all go across, just except for 2 of us. And then once they'd pulled the raft backwards again, back across to us, we'd get on and go. So the jeepney loaded up, the other 4 of the crew, they went across. And all of a sudden, we got surrounded. Probably about 16 people with rifles. And one man came up to us, he made a circle around us, and he had a .38. And he cocked it back, and I'm about 4 or 5 feet from him, and he pointed at me. Obviously, he's going to shoot me. And as he pulled the trigger back, praise God, my heart was beating. He fell down on the ground, and he had a heart attack. And I just knew in God, the Spirit of God, prayed for him. I knelt down, put my hand on his heart, prayed for him, and he revived. And he stood up, and he said something in the Filipino language, and they opened a way for us, and they let us go. And that was a miracle of God. I'll never forget that. But you know what it tells me? If God is for you, who can be against you? We were blessed that day. I was blessed. And I realized that God is watching over us. His angelic beings are watching over us. Now, if God has ordained you to be somewhere that is God, then God will watch over you. And that gave me great courage and comfort from that day, because I've been in many situations since where it's dangerous, places like Venezuela, Islamic nations, but God has always protected us. And God is a good God. God bless you.